Hello, classmates and Miss Benzie. This is Bailey Laster, and I'm going to show y'all my Excel report. So here in this area of the first scenario, we have a pie chart, and the pie chart shows percentages of mass speeds. Over here to the left in the blue, it shows the body movements and what they represent. We also have a bar chart, and it has the axes titles, and on the left it says speed, miles per hours, and on the bottom it says bodies. In the first scenario, we were asked to choose something that stood out to us, and I chose the oak tree. It's located right here on the scale of the universe, and I do believe that this representation for the first scenario is very good when it comes to visualization. It shows a true percentage form when it comes to numbers. If you see right here, this box is my report that I wrote explaining what I see in the first scenario. So moving along to scenario 2, and here we're just going through and picking out a few pieces for the video. Let's see here. I want to make sure that I have. All right. So for scenario 2, I chose to point out the pie charts and how the representation was false. It shows that the city gave just half of the funding. In reality, they gave more. All right, so here I'm going to correct my report right here in this box. So let's see here. All right, so if you'll see here, it shows 265 million was funded by the city, but in reality, it was a lot more than that because, well, it could be that number, but on the graph, it was false. If you go over here and look, 265 million represented on a true pie chart is more than half. Along with, let's see here. Along with these charts as well, most of these advertisements were not accurate by any means. They were closer than this one, but they were still not accurate. I'm going to read you my report just so you can have some more detail on this scenario. So it says the second scenario here is about bad data representation. The scenario shows the real representation of the actual number. Each of the pie charts with the false representation are broke down into real percentages in the chart that I have created. This clearly shows that not everything is visually correct when presented on public advertisement. If you look closer here in the area of the graph, you can see that contributions in the first pie chart give the city less credit than they deserve on the chart. All right. So moving along from scenario 2, going to go to scenario 3. And these are Venn diagrams. I really like Venn diagrams because it shows you overlapping combinations. And this one's talking about diseases as in obesity and diabetes and high blood pressure. So if you look at these two Venn diagrams, we have numbers of Americans in millions. So this one says 206.1 million Americans are affected. So here are lighter colors in these different combinations, and that is single numbers of Americans that are affected. Then the darker colors represent combinations, and these combinations show Americans that have, let's say, obesity and diabetes and even high blood pressure, which is really sad because no one should have to deal with 3 diseases at one time, or even at one. Along with the probability over here, this one has 63.2% of Americans represented. So looking at these Venn diagrams, I'm going to read you my report and kind of tell you what I've seen in them. So here with the third scenario, we have a Venn diagram. The diagram, let me fix that typo, sorry, first report. So the diagram represents probability with the Americans' health. These different categories arrange different areas to show different combinations. Because there's so many Americans and we're all built differently, there's going to be different combinations. There in the chart, you will see categories of percentages and how each of them connects and create a Venn section that might have more than one disease. To me, these Venn diagrams are very helpful, and I see a lot of them being used more and more every day, especially in healthcare. So moving right along to scenario 4. Here we have line graphs, and on the line graphs there's dots representing numbers. So here we have Army recruits on the left, and we have random mall shoppers on the right. So this will show you, this is representing people by their height. I'm not sure exactly where they're coming in with the variety, but it shows 2 different groups. I'm going to read you my report that I came up with in this scenario. The 4th scenario involves line graphs. These line graphs represent shoppers and Army recruits' heights in inches. These 2 different groups of people are represented on the line graphs to show the variety of people's heights, along with horizontal bar graph that shows a median outcome. So these bar graphs here, left and right, represent a median height area. These graphs also show axis titles, and these are good for representations for finding a medium between 2 scenarios or groups. So let's see here. Moving right along to scenario 5. So here is a formula that we were told to put in the system, just like Miss Benzies. And this here represents the outcome. Both of these charts, 2 different bar graphs. So when you're looking at household incomes and you're looking at the median income, it will point out to you, written right here, and this is showing around $49,445 for a median household income. So there's $5,000 categories, and each section in green level up to the median income. On the left side of the bar graph, it shows families at income levels, and that's a percentage rate that just shows you how many people are at this rate. So I'm going to read you my report just to give you some more details on what I believe in this scenario. The bar graphs to the left represent sleep patterns and household incomes. The numbers to the right of the bar graphs are formulas that created the percentage in the graphs presented. Each bar in blue represents incomes and how many people in a visual percentage representation. These graphs are very useful because it allows people to have a detailed concept of what is going on in the bar graphs, along with the sleep pattern graph. Each graph follows a specific formula to create the percentage that are shown. So here are hours of sleep I was going to mention in the beginning. This is a good representation of a median of how many hours people get per night. I myself do not get very many hours of sleep. So this area, the bar graphs are not my typical favorite visuals of information. I typically like the Venn diagram, like I said before, but the bar graphs do show a lot of detail that people can gain information from. So moving to the final scenario, we have here a company with flamethrowers. So here on the left are numbers that they started out with, and you'll see that the certain numbers of profit are highlighted. So we start off with a pinkish color, and it's in the negatives, and it goes further down in the negatives as more sales happen. But I believe because they started off in the negative, they had to get money to create the business, and now they're slowly going up in profits. So each area of profit on this line graph is showing how they're advancing. Then in the turquoise blue color area on the chart shows you nothing but profits. So after this line right here in the middle, it's blue. After that, they're just strictly profit. They're advancing their company. So after looking at the flamethrower sales, you can see that they started in the negative, but they ended in a positive outcome. I'm going to read you the scenarios report just to let you know some more detailed information. So what I came up with was the final scenario here involves numbers showing profit. Each area of input and output has a color. These colors represent where the company was at with sales, along with where they started in the beginning of making profit. As you can see, they started out in the negative because they borrowed money to get the company started. Then they gradually changed their output to positive profits, and that is where the chart in blue comes in. The blue chart represents all sales in the 200 range and shows how much the profit increases. So after reading that, you can see and compare to the graph that once they hit that blue mark, it went straight up, and they went to a green area. And I guess green means for good sales. That's my outcome or my conclusion for that. So this is my first Excel report, first time even working Excel. It took a little longer to build because of, like I said, it's my first time, and I hope to get better at reporting on Excel, and I wish everybody good luck in Excel because this is not a easy beginner's program. And that's it. Thank you.